Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to dive deep into the world of modernist literature to compare two of its towering figures, Virginia Woolf and James Joyce. This comparison is a really hot topic, especially for students pursuing their BA/MA or preparing for competitive exams like the UGC Net. So, if you're a literature student, this one's for you. Let's get started! Let's begin with a quick introduction to set the stage. Virginia Woolf was a brilliant English novelist and a leading member of the Bloomsbury Group. On the other hand, James Joyce was a groundbreaking Irish novelist and short story writer, famous for his experimental style. Both were absolute pioneers of modernism, but they took very different paths to revolutionize the novel. Their writing styles, their thematic concerns, and their overall impact on literature were quite distinct. So, let's first take a closer look at Virginia Woolf. What really makes her writing special? Woolf's primary focus was the inner world of her characters. She was a master of exploring the delicate, often unspoken, emotional, and psychological landscapes of the human mind. Her prose is incredibly subtle, poetic, and deeply psychological. To capture this inner reality, she famously used the stream of consciousness technique. But Woolf's version of it is very specific. It's a gentle, flowing current that shows how thoughts, memories, and feelings blend and drift in a way that feels very natural and true to life. When we talk about the themes in Woolf's work, a few key ideas stand out. She was profoundly interested in the nature of time, memory, the construction of personal identity, and especially gender. As a feminist thinker, Woolf consistently examined the social position of women and the restrictive effects of a patriarchal society. Her novels don't follow a straight, linear path. Instead, they move fluidly between the past and the present, creating a narrative that is both smooth and beautifully lyrical. It's like watching a watercolor painting come to life. Some of her most celebrated works, which I highly recommend you read, are Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, and the wonderfully inventive Orlando. Now, let's shift our focus over to James Joyce. If Woolf was the master of subtle interiority, Joyce was the revolutionary who wanted to break language itself and rebuild it. He was far more experimental and, frankly, more radical in his approach. His writing is known for being incredibly complex, dense, and packed with intellectual puzzles and illusions. Joyce also used the stream of consciousness technique, but his version is a world away from Woolf's. It's a raw, unfiltered, and often chaotic torrent of thoughts, sensations, and half-formed ideas, especially in his masterpiece, Ulysses. He wanted to show the mind exactly as it is in all its messy glory. Joyce's main obsession was language. He wasn't just using it to tell a story, he was exploring language as a subject in itself. He played with grammar, bent the rules of syntax, and even invented his own words. His writing is a rich tapestry woven with mythology, intricate symbolism, endless puns, wordplay, and a dizzying array of different narrative styles within a single book. He was a true linguistic acrobat. Joyce's major works chart his own development as an artist. You can see his style evolving from the more accessible realism of Dubliners and a Portrait of the Artist as a young man to the monumental complexity of Ulysses and the famously difficult Finnegan's Wake. All right. Now that we've looked at them individually, let's put them side by side and pinpoint the main differences. This is the part that will really help you nail those exam questions. First, let's talk about style. Virginia Woolf's writing is lyrical, poetic, and emotional. It has a musical quality. James Joyce's writing, in contrast, is complex, intellectual, and linguistic. It's more like a mathematical equation or a complex piece of architecture. Next, their use of stream of consciousness. Woolf presents consciousness in a smooth, flowing, and controlled manner. Think of a gentle river. Joyce, however, presents it in a raw, unfiltered, and chaotic way. Think of a raging waterfall of sensory data. Woolf's focus is often on the social and relational aspects of life. She explores social relationships, the passage of time, and the politics of gender. Joyce, on the other hand, is more focused on the individual. His great themes are individual identity, alienation, exile, and the quest for artistic freedom. Even their narrative structures are completely different. While Woolf moved away from traditional plots, her narratives still have a kind of flexible, controlled structure. You can feel her guiding hand. Joyce, particularly in his later work, aims to completely shatter traditional narrative rules. He breaks the novel apart and reconstructs it into something entirely new and challenging. To put it simply, Virginia Woolf explores the mind with elegance, psychological depth, and sensitivity. James Joyce explores the mind with raw intensity, intellectual rigor, and relentless linguistic experimentation. So, to wrap things up, what is their ultimate contribution? Both Woolf and Joyce completely transformed the modern novel, pushing it in directions it had never gone before. Woolf made fiction more intimate, more psychological, and more emotionally resonant. She gave us a language to talk about the inner lives of women in a way no one had before. Joyce, on the other hand, made the novel more complex, more ambitious, and more self-aware. He showed that a novel could be a universe of language, philosophy, and myth all at once. By understanding the differences between these two incredible writers, you don't just learn about them. You gain a much deeper and richer understanding of modernism itself and its lasting impact on literature. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this comparison helpful and that it clears up some of the key distinctions between these literary giants. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more literary analysis, and share it with any friends who might find it useful. And I'd love to know your thoughts. So, comment below who's writing, do you prefer the lyrical elegance of Virginia Woolf or the radical experimentation of James Joyce? See you in the next video.